Hey, welcome back to the Midday Q&A. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today with my 1956 Beetle. That's right, she's right behind me here. I've gotten a bunch of questions and a lot of comments in regards to the engine and exhaust that I'm putting on there, as well as questions about the paint that's going to be going on the body sometime soon. So I figured I'm going to try to answer these questions now, and I've said these things before in other videos. The exhaust I actually talked about just yesterday alone, but people seem to be missing the point, so I'm going to answer it one more time. And that's what this midday Q&A videos are for, and this is the reason why I put them up on the other channel. So it's not so much to, I guess the best way is so I don't really spoil my image so much over on Duckman Cycles. This is more my personal channel. This is where I get to be more of me, and it's less about the projects, so I can give people one of these if I don't like you. So anyways, yeah, we're going to have a little discussion about this, so as always, like, comment, subscribe. Please pluck that little dingle belly that you see down there next to the subscribe button, and we get updates every time I upload a video. Don't forget to check out Duckman Cycles VW Garage, my other YouTube channel where I work on these types of projects. Check out Facebook page, Duckman Cycles VW Garage. We got almost 600 members up on the Facebook group page, so please join that. If you'd like to email me, duckmancycles@duckshit.net. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a minute. Hey, we're back. Well, you know how it is. What do I know? I know nothing. Everybody on the internet, all the commenters, all know more than I do, even though I've had my hands on these things and I've worked on this stuff, you know, since forever. But one of the first things that I learned after having watched my car show of over 1,000 cars here in Pensacola get itself a bad reputation because one of my business partners chose to engage the haters online, which caused them to pile up and eventually caused a very, very negative aura around our car show. And, well, they pretty much turned the people that liked us also into haters too. So that car show just pretty much went to shit, and you know, there's a lot more to it than that. There was a lot of other things that went on in there as well. But the first thing I did learn from that is do not engage the haters. And I try to answer with the Q&A a lot of the things that go on here in my garage, and try to be constructive about it. If you ask a constructive question, or you try to ask some information about what I'm doing, I'll be very, very happy to answer you. If you give me a constructive suggestion to get something done, or a better way to do something that's not going to slow my project down, I'm more than happy to hear it. I'm more than happy to listen to you, and in many cases, hell, I'll even do it. And that does come up rather often. I mean, a lot of the suggestions that have been given to me over the years, I actually built this car with. And a lot of other really bad suggestions I either completely ignored or threw out. It's a lot of things I've considered. People really give me some really good suggestions sometimes that I just can't use. They don't apply to what I'm doing. They're close, but my direction that's being chosen is in a different path. So, you know, so sometimes I can't always use what's being given to me or told to me. And I try to consider all the factors. You know, I try to look at what's not only going to be the best cost, what's going to be the easier way how to do something, or what's going to be the best thing for longevity. You know, you have to figure out the best of all these different areas and what's going to work out for you. And sometimes the cheapest, fastest is the best, even if it's going to break later, because you're just trying to get to the car show. You know, you're going to display the car one time. If that thing's going to break, who cares? You're going to take it back off. Later on, you're going to go ahead and upgrade to the better part that costs a little bit more money, that takes a little more time to put together. You guys get the point on that. But anyways, all the PR guys that tell you what to do with your YouTube channel all say the same thing. And I'm getting really close to the fringe area of not doing the right thing. And they say to use the tools that are available to you when you have people that are problems. And there's two things. There's two tools that are available to me to deal with the problem people. And the first one is when you find their comment and they're making a little snarky remark and they're being a complete asshole or trying to make me look stupid, you click that little delete button next to it, you know, and it goes away. It just goes away. And if that same person continuously makes these dumb remarks, then there's another little button that's over there that says block. You know, so you hit the delete one. Well, actually, you probably want to hit the block one first, otherwise their name disappears. But you hit the block one, then you hit the delete one, and it goes poof. And it's gone until the next asshole comes along. So anyways, I've got some people that just continuously make some really, really dumb remarks. And I'm not necessarily calling out any one of you, but just if they're a problem, I'm going to take care of them. And this is the last time and only time I'm ever going to mention it again. From now on, I'm going to, like I said, engage using the tools that are available to me and not bring it up again. But what we're going to discuss here today is going to be, with the first thing, the exhaust header that's right here on Eleanore. Okay, now I'm actually going to record this, and I'm not going to do any edits in it, so that way you guys can actually see what's going on here with this exhaust. Let's see if I can give you the best angle to look at this here. This is kind of an awkward thing to shoot. Alright, let's see here. As you can tell, the exhaust is completely assembled. Everything is put together on this engine. Currently, I just have the intake holes covered because I don't want to get any dirt or, you know, these little nuts and bolts. I don't need that crap falling down in there, because then I'll have a bigger problem. Anyways, the headers, as you can see, are currently attached. This exhaust system is currently assembled. There it is, you're looking at it. You're also seeing the tripod here, that's what that is. But it's currently assembled. Let's go ahead and have a look at these headers. Now remember, this side is the one with the curve that was about an inch longer than the one on that side. That extra curve that they put in that pipe made the tapered end that's over here too short. And that causes that pipe to not seat correctly in the header that's up here. Maybe I should be shooting this a little differently here. Let's go ahead and try this. This curve, right on through here, is an inch further away from the head than it is on that side. This pipe up here, as a result, doesn't really seat well in there. You can see how I can pull that right out with minimal effort. So this pipe is just not long enough. So some people have told me that what I need to do is I need to quit being stupid and switch the pipes on the other side. If this head is further away from the header, obviously, if you look down, you'll see that the heads are staggered. This one is further away from the header, that I should be putting the long pipe on the left-hand side. Well, I guess I'm an idiot, right? Because what I did is I must have put the long pipe over here on the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and take off this supposed long pipe, right? And we're going to take this long pipe, and we're going to take it off of this side, which, by the way, look at these here. Oh my God! The one I just took off happens to be the long one. Well, I guess everybody thinks this is the long one, so I might as well put it on this side anyway. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. There we go. We got it all bolted on there, right? That's how the... Oh, look! Oh my God, not only is it too short, but it completely misses the mark. So let's go ahead and take this one then, which everybody thinks is the short one. And let's put it over here on this side and see exactly what happens. Whoa, look at that! Now it's like way long, and it's still missing the mark. But you know, I'm the stupid one because I put the pipe on wrong. And this is coming from the very first comment that I got when I was doing this video. The very first comment that I got was from somebody with an American muscle car for his screen name. Now, you know, engines are engines, okay? I understand the principles behind auto gasoline 4-cylinder engines are pretty much the same all the way across the board. There's different designs, but the operation and function is fundamentally the same. But when it comes to the idiosyncrasies of, let's say, a big American V8 engine versus a small air-cooled Volkswagen or import engine, things are just really different. And I've already proven that, and you're looking at the Type 3, having put the air cleaners inside the engine compartment, that the engine compartment is going to fill up with cool air once that car starts moving, and I've demonstrated that, but still people don't want to listen to that one. But, you know, things are just different. Things are set up a certain way, and I mean, you can see where the flange is. You see how it has that little bit of a turn? It's not completely perpendicular. It's not completely parallel. It's got its own little angle on it. This is just how the thing was designed. It would be nice if the studs were completely straight and in line, but they're not. They're staggered. And as a result, you can put the pipes on the wrong side, and they won't fit. So what I did, apparently, was wrong by putting the correct pipes on the correct side, and that's what I'm being, you know, called out about. But obviously, when you put the right pipe on the right side, quite literally, right-hand side is the right pipe, right? Right. There it is. Look, it fits. Over here, by the way, yeah, the strut is currently pulled out of the way. That's why this goes in so easily. This side over here, you see that thing barely goes into that pipe, and it goes over this flange. So what happened is when the Chinese manufacturer, and I'm going to bet it was Chinese, they had to have been. They put this pipe, which is pre-made, on the mandrel. They put the bend in the wrong spot. If they had the bend closer to this end, rather than closer to, well, that end, the pipe would be an inch shorter here, and it would be an inch longer down here. Maybe even up to 2 inches, actually. But what the case is, for me, to resolve this problem, is going to be take an inch out of the pipe here, weld the flange back on, and then this pipe will go an inch further into the header. That resolves that problem. Now, I don't understand what was so hard about that. I don't understand why I'm not being listened to. I don't even understand why I have to explain it. And I'm out of breath here because I got so excited talking about it. I mean, it really felt good, once again, to prove myself right. And, you know, I've kind of made a living out of that. You know, I do IT, and I hate being proven right. But when it comes down to people doing things their way, and they don't want to listen to me, yeah, you know, I'm no dummy. I know what I'm doing here. And obviously this exhaust system would not have fit if I put the J-tubes on the wrong sides. So what I still need to do is I need to cut an inch out of that. And that's actually going to be in tonight's video, where I take this exhaust apart and I nip that little piece out of there and I weld that flange back on. And no, the flanges cannot be turned, they cannot be pivoted. If they could, yeah, I actually could have switched sides, but it still would have been in a worse problem, because when I put this one on this side, it would have been far too short. Far too short. I mean, this one's too short now, but this one on that side would have been just far too short. So obviously, that's not going to work. Thanks for your suggestions, you guys. Even though they were not ones that was going to work for this, I still thank you anyway. But for those of you that tried to make me look dumb, well, too bad for you. Once again, proved myself right on this one. Well, let's go ahead and jump on to the next thing. Well, behind me here we have Eleanor's body. And his body, as you know, was put together by multiple different pieces of car, as well as home appliances. There was an awful lot of dryers that went into this. I think it was 2 dryers on the stove, or a washing machine, 2 wash, I don't remember. Anyway, there's 3 appliances that went into this. There was an awful lot of metal that came off of those appliance bodies that went into this car. And you know the whole deal. The car was a hurricane car. It got damaged severely. And, well, as a result, it's got an awful lot of welding scar on it. I don't think, well, there is. There's not a single panel on this body that hasn't been patched except for the hood. That actually is the only exception. And the fenders, of course, which are not metal, they're actually fiberglass. People ask me about those a lot, but I actually picked those up at a car show back around 1996. They were packing up from a car show to leave. I forget which show it was. I think it was a Fisher Buggy show in Plant City. I think it was Plant City. Right up in that way. It was somewhere down in the middle of the state. And the vendor was packing up the fenders. He was taking them away at the end of the show, and I made an offer. He took them, and, well, I've got 4 fenders on here. I don't remember who the vendor's name was. I don't remember what the manufacturer of them was. There's still a little bit of the sticker left on there, but unfortunately you can't read it. But they've actually been in my possession now for, I think it's going on 23 years. And I'm finally using them. They actually were on my '69 Beetle way back when, which I was going to restore back in 1996, but never really got around to finishing it, and ended up selling that car off. But this car is going to go in for paint sometime soon within that next year. Now, why haven't I painted it is the big question. And I actually started to get some really snarky remarks about it. If you would just paint it, you wouldn't have to worry about it getting rained on. Well, number one, the car is not done yet being welded. There's still a lot of things that I'm tweaking and adjusting. There's still some things that I'm playing with. This thing is still getting an awful lot of body work done to it. So it's a bit off from where it needs to be before I can get it painted. And secondly, I'm not doing any of the paint work. This car is actually going to Classic Car Creations over in Cocoa Beach, Florida, over on the East Coast. Earl Shiflett actually owns the company over there. Down below in the video description, I'm going to give you links to his YouTube channel. He's just started getting on there. He's also got a website, so you guys can check out some of his work. Once again, that link will not only be here on the screen, but I'll put it down below in the video description. You guys need to check out what he does, but this car is going into his shop sometime within the next year. And he's going to be doing all the final body work on it. He's going to be doing the skim coat. He's going to be straightening out all the little things that either I didn't see or that he thinks could be done better. But the car is going to keep its overall shape from where it's at. Honestly, I don't think it needs too much, but he's the professional. You know, really, when it comes down to it, what I did here and what I think of myself, I think I'm a real hack job, although a lot of longtime body guys have looked at it and have said some really good things about this car, even my own dad. And it's not just that he loves me because I'm his son, but, you know, he's had 30-something years of auto body experience himself. And when he looked at this car and he couldn't believe it himself what he was looking at. That really made me feel good, because he didn't really get me that opportunity to teach me how to do this stuff. He taught me how to color sand and, you know, how to prepare for paint, but when it came down to it, the welding or the geometry and that stuff, he never did teach me that. So it was just something I always had an eye for. Now, in school, and I'm going to toot my own horn here, but we had some kind of aptitude test, and I forget what it is. I actually just found the original testing score sheet recently. It was in like a yearbook or something. But I scored 99th percentile in space relations. And what that is pretty much putting a shape of an object into another shape of an object. You know, I can approximate what size panel this would have been from a group of panels and fill that hole where the gas flap used to be from the 69 front end that was a donor for this car. You know, that type of thing is what I can do. And I had the ability to wrap my mind around. And you might call me an idiot savant, because there's a lot of things that I don't do well. One of the things that I don't think I do all that well is speaking. I try to address my audience in such a way, but sometimes it requires a lot of editing. Sometimes I clutter. It's not quite stuttering, but it's where you take words and you put them together and you make a new word that doesn't make any sense. It's just a lot of noise. And I do that, and that's one of my weak points. I'm pretty good in math. You can see me math pretty good. I'm also pretty good about spelling and grammar, even though I don't speak the way that I type or write. Things are different. But space relations, I scored higher than all of my peers. In fact, they didn't give you what the actual results were on the test, but I think I probably scored perfect or near perfect. Even the the honor roll students and the people with all A's, they couldn't touch me on that when we compared scores in class. Yeah, so I was way up there. And I guess I had an eye for it. I don't know what it is. I think it runs in the family. Everybody in the family, all the men anyway, have all been machinists, mechanics, auto body, electricians, builders. You know, people that actually had hands-on and put things together. And that's what I did here. But I think I ran away with that one a little bit. I think most of my work is pretty good, but what Earl's going to do is he's going to give this car a one-over with his professionalism, which his experience and his work far exceeds anything that I do. Even he complimented me on this, and it really warms me inside to know that he loves this car quite as much as I do, and he regards it as, well, as a celebrity, or at least that's the way he seems to react when we talk about it. I mean, he just really likes this car, and well, I really like his work. So I don't know that I'd consider taking that car anywhere else. But specifically, he told me, do not paint this car, do not fill this car, do not do anything to it. He says, you're doing the fine thing by just putting some phosphoric acid on it to keep the metal sealed up to stop it from rusting again. And as you notice, even though it got rained on, it hasn't rusted. I think if it got soaked, you know, if I let it sit out in the rain overnight, it would probably wash off some of that coating and start rusting again. But yeah, he said I was doing the right thing. So that's the reason why this car doesn't have paint on it yet. And that's the reason why I haven't done any of the field work on it yet. Because I was very explicitly told to not do that. He's going to actually be taking this car. He's going to take everything apart on the car. And he's going to sandblast the entire thing inside and out. And I don't know, I wasn't too crazy about that at first, because I know that when you sandblast thing, that it immediately leaves the metal back open to the elements, and a lot of guys just go ahead and they just repaint it, you know, a filler, primer, paint, and they're done. And then you get rust bubbles pop through it again, you know, sometimes a few months later, sometimes a few years later, because the paint underneath, because the metal underneath had already been exposed to oxides. And even just the humidity in the air sometimes is enough to start that rusting process, but you can't see it, you know, it's real small. And eventually it comes popping through the paint. But what he wants to do is, once he sandblasts this thing, he's gonna dip the entire body. I think he said it's remember if he said zinc phosphate or chromium phosphate or something, but there's some type of a dip that this whole body's going to go into to prevent that rust from ever coming back again. Kind of pretty much what the factory did to it. And then of course it would be up to me after that to keep all the sealing properly, because that's the reason why these cars rust, is once the seals are compromised and the water gets inside of them, being that these cars are nearly airtight, that also means they trap water. If water is somehow getting in, it's going to have great difficulty getting back out. So the key is to keep this car sealed up. So he's going to strip this entire body, and he's going to dip it, seal it. He said very, very minor polyfill. He's going to then prime it, sand it, and paint it. And I know it's going to be a tremendous undertaking, and he and I haven't worked out the numbers yet, and I know I'm going to get killed in the process. Because when you call a professional for work, it's going to be expensive, but I mean, he's worth every penny. Now, what I have not mentioned to you is he actually restored one of the Herbie cars. So he's already got Volkswagens under his belt. He restored the Christine movie car, if you remember the old, I think it's a 58 Plymouth. That car is just gorgeous, and actually it lives right across town here. I ought to go visit Bill. Bill's the owner, he's a friend of mine. And that's actually how I met Earl. Yeah, Bill's a friend of mine, and he bought that car. I don't remember all the details on it, but I'll put the Christine movie car link also on the bottom of the screen here. He's got his own website, and he takes the car on tour, and he takes fan photos with it, sells t-shirts, that kind of stuff. But he goes to horror conventions and that type of thing. Not so much car show circuits, but he demonstrates the car for what it is. It's a movie icon. All right, well, I think that should explain to you guys why I have not painted this car just yet. This car is still going to need body work. It's still going to need a lot of sanding yet. It's still got some things that I'm going to modify on it. There's some work I'm going to be doing to the A-pillars here. You guys are going to see that coming up soon. There's also some work to the doors that I'm going to be doing. A little bit of changing of some things. And also, before I send it to Earl, I'm going to try to get the glass cut. When I get it back from him, I don't want to be laying templates and stuff on it when there's a chance that I could scratch the brand new paint that this car is going to have. One of the other questions I keep getting asked about the paint also, and I figured I might as well answer in this, is what color am I going to paint it? And overwhelmingly, everybody has said green. And the car was originally green. It was actually diamond green. And it actually had been painted jungle green over that at some point. I don't think I have any jungle green left on the car. No, there's not. There was still some around the door frame, but it was also a little bit around the windows, but I think I've sanded that all off. No, it's not that. This is actually a donor from another car. I found it at a car show. But no, there's nothing left on the car right now. Jungle green, but the diamond green still has a little bit remaining here. That's diamond green right there. It's kind of a gold color. I think it's kind of a hot color, kind of nice. And like I said, overwhelmingly people have said, this car should be green. A few people said blue. Some people said maybe I should do a really light color, like a cream color or a white. A lot of people wanted two-tone, but I think the old white wall or white-sided Volkswagens with a different color roof and fenders, I think it's kind of overplayed. I was building a cow look or something, and I wanted it to look more vintage or original. Yes. I would like the car to look like it has a period color on it, though, 1950s. And people gave me some really hot shot colors to put on this, and they look really neat. But like I said, I want this car to look like it came from the 50s, because it did. I want this car to have a color that's also from the period. So that way I can tell people when they see this car, that car looks really cool. It's really different than the ordinary. Why is that? I could say it was Volkswagen Sport model from 1956. They only made about 6 of them, and this is the only one left remaining, and it just happens to be in America. Give them some kind of fish story. I think that would be pretty awesome. So I think that answers the questions as far as paint. So yeah, I'm gonna be pushing this car into the garage whenever it rains. Throwing a tarp over it might be an option for a moment, but you don't throw a tarp over a car that's already getting rained on, especially when you don't know it's gonna rain. And that's one of the things here about Florida. By the way, first sunny day in about 8-9 days, something like that. Beautiful day today. It actually hit a top of about 60 degrees at about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Getting a little chilly out here now. I'll probably see my breath tonight. But yeah, today was a really nice day to have the windows open on the house. Anyways, as always, you guys, like, comment, subscribe, pluck the little dingle bell you see down there next to the subscribe button. Don't forget to check out Duckman Cycles VW Garage up on the Facebook group page. And if you'd like to email me, duckmancycles@duckshit.net. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to leave me a question if you got one. We'll try to answer them and, be constructive with your remarks. Otherwise, I'm going to delete, block. You know how it goes. Thanks a lot, you guys. Really appreciate you. Really, I do. Thank you. Bye.